You're watching CCN, Clarksville Community Network. Produced by Goodwin Productions. Powered by CDE Lightband.
Hey, welcome back to CCN Network and Coach's Corner. Listen, we got Coach G, we got Coach P, we got Coach H, we got Northwest, we got West Creek, we got Rossview. Now listen, guys, we've been talking about all this 7-on-7 and all this working out and pumping steel. I've lost my voice. Coach P has lost his voice. But now, so let's go to West Creek. Let's go to West Creek. So now we're just talking off camera just a little bit, you know, and you know how summer coaches, everything's lined up nice and smooth. You're at the office, you're calling, you're organizing, getting your dates and your times and your players and your organization. It's just going smooth. And then sometimes, Coach G, sometimes things happen, right?
Yep.
So you had a camp set up?
Yep.
I think it was UT Martin. I think you're going off campus, man. You got the buses, you got the parents, you got the money, you got the forms. Yep. You spent hours on this stuff, Coach, hours and hours. And how's that go? How'd that camp go for you, Coach?
Yeah, it didn't go as planned. We had it all set up. We were really excited to head out to UT Martin. It was a different camp than Bethel last year, and Bethel kind of informed us that it was a little tough to turn the dorms back around because they brought the students on so soon, and so. We were like, all right, UT Martin, we're going there. And we were checking in with the point of contact every week and, hey, are we good to go? Are we good to go? Hey, you're good to go. Send me a roster for the dorms. And we were really excited about that. The kids were really excited about that. We collected, we have 102 players. We got the buses lined up. There's so much paperwork that goes with, taking 102 teenagers 2 hours away on an overnight field trip for 4 days. And so there's so much that goes into it with the district and everything else, and rightfully so. And so we found out on Saturday that UT Martin kind of had a hiccup, that they weren't ready for us to come, and they said that that they themselves were going to have issues with dorms and being able to turn certain dorms over because they had another group coming and they couldn't mix the minors with the older kids.
So this is Saturday.
This is Saturday.
Now, Friday, things are going well. Practice is going. We're getting ready.
Kids
Saturday
are excited.
comes around. Monday, you're ready to go. You're loading. You're getting everything organized. You're getting buses. You're getting your gear. You're ready to go. And then Saturday hits.
Yeah, Saturday hits, and then so that was really tough because we've already collected all the money, and so it was a pretty pricey camp. Kids had worked for that camp money. Kids had, parents had already paid up. We had built so much excitement around this camp, and then. To be let down like that was really, really disappointing. Especially, when you have something like that that's such a great opportunity and it gets pulled from you so late. It doesn't, like I told, the point of contact, I'm like, man, we find out this a little sooner, like in June when we were having this conversation, or May, we could have pivoted. We could have went to another university. We could have done some things. When you have 48 hours and you're supposed to be on the bus, it doesn't leave you much time. So, but, like anything else, like it's adversity, we handled that same thing in the game. We tried to make this week as fun for the kids as possible. Right. We tried to create a kind of camp-like environment. We fed them after practice a couple of days. Booster Club really came in clutch. They bought them pizza on Monday. They had hot dogs and chips and drinks yesterday, and then they got them popsicles today. So, it wasn't the week we wanted, but again, we like I told them, man, like Rossview doesn't care that we didn't go to camp. Like Northwest doesn't care when they come over to play us. Like they don't care we went to camp. Kenwood doesn't care. Northeast doesn't care. Like Clarksville is not going to feel bad for you because you didn't get to go to camp. So like you can either like sit on it and say, hey, like we're going to mope in this moment, or you're going to say, hey, it is what it is. Like we've got to get 1% better because nobody cares. Like the only people that care are sitting in this room, and it sucks what happened, but at the end of the day, like we've got 10 teams that you got to get ready for, and they're getting ready for you. So we can.
What you're doing, they're moving on.
They don't care how it went and how great it was or it wasn't. At the end of the day, like you got to line up, and you got to spot the ball, and you got to get out there and play. And so
so in the coaching world, Friday's feeling good.
Yeah.
Right? Probably about noon. Hey, man, I'm getting ready, getting everything lined up, and all this, and then, what a different week.
Yeah. Yeah,
But that's
so
the thing, though. Like, that adversity piece that you're speaking is a testament to your character and your program, man. Because I had just posted something about that. A strength coach, Louis Corrala, man, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he's like, you can require everybody in your program and then more. And when it comes to that piece of adding up to trying to have a winning season and win, it promises you nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't loyal to you and don't care about you when it comes to winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the truth is. Like, but you still got to move on and you still got to step forward to have a successful season. Minus week 3 or week 4, I think is the week you come see us. I mean, I don't know, but outside of that, man, the biggest thing about that is that you put in so much work, man, and it's unfortunate that it goes down. But I hope that doesn't fall on deaf ears, that it ain't you, man.
Yeah.
You put in work for months and months, and people need to understand that you're just as crushed as those kids are too.
Sure.
We definitely are. That's a bad look, man.
Even
and
though that's work, it's sort of fun.
It's a rough
It's sort of
feeling walking
exciting,
back in
and
that. Yeah,
you want to
walking
get
back.
something out of it, and you got it planned. It's very disappointing.
Absolutely.
So I think we put some pads on.
Mm-hmm.
So Northwest, we put some pads on.
did.
How's that going for you over there?
The beauty of putting on pads, man. I always get philosophical in that week, man. I was like, we always say it weans out the men from the boys.
Here we go.
It's even different because it's an eye-opening experience for people. Once you hear that first loud crack, and then you see Coach Pena running around, jumping in the air, blowing his whistle 4, 5, 6, 8 times, getting hyped because of a big hit. That one kid is looking like, this may not be it for me. This is a lot. And
Sort of part of it.
yeah, I really enjoy this week, man. I really do. I always fire out the gate, to set the tone in practice. You just fire out the gate and have some contact the right way. Make sure we're tackling good. Make sure, but it is kind of stressful because you start on Monday and we got a game on Friday, and that's a quick turnaround when it comes to contact. So you have to manage that correctly. And we had a 2-a-day. We had an overnight, just so single one on Monday night to have a 2-a-day camp and get those guys acclimated into contact, and it went pretty decent, and I'm not mad at it at all.
Now, it sounds like, I'm a little hoarse.
Me
sounds
too.
like you're a little hoarse.
Look,
Now, is that because we're like so happy? Like we're just
nah, that's safety risk. That's safety risk, and that's installing a new defense that takes time. But
So you put a new defense in.
I did.
Would you mind doing some board work with me and?
Yeah,
Not
we
at
could.
all. Not at all.
Walk us through it.
I'll show y'all the usual cover 3 that we're gonna see around
Come on,
here.
man.
That's
Come
about
on,
the best
Coach.
you're gonna get.
You're never gonna run cover 3.
Yeah.
Yes, you're lying. You're lying.
I'm not.
He's making this stuff up.
I'm not
We'll
gonna
never
run
see
cover
3 high.
Yeah.
But just play calling this year is going to be exciting, and the guys are hyped. But that atmosphere, creating that environment when contact and pads go on, it's second to none,
It's
man.
different, isn't it?
It's great, man. It's great.
Well, and I don't know about you guys, but this is usually my hardest week. That's why we kind of like to go to camp, is because it takes them out of their environment,
Which is
and
great.
you can constantly work on them, because like in May, we hold spring practice in May, so generally we don't have the heat. It's not as hot. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more breezy out there. We don't have the 9th graders,
Track kids.
so we don't have. So it's a little bit easier stress-wise because, you're bringing back guys who are 4 or 5 months removed from season.
Yeah.
Right. So they kind of know when you say, "Hey, we're reading 2 to 1," or you're the box player, you're the spill player. Like they understand the jargon, and then you bring in these young kids, and then some kids that have realized like, "Hey, football looks fun this year. Maybe we join up." We were sitting at, I think, 106 kids.
Right.
And so when you have a lot of just new people and new faces, this week kind of becomes a little bit more difficult, at least for us, because
It creates a problem. 106
yeah,
is a good problem, but it creates a problem.
Correct. It creates a big problem for us because it's like you're trying to explain. We have 10 coaches, so we're trying to divide everybody up. And at a school like West Creek, we have hundreds of DBs and wide receivers, and we got like 5 linemen. And so you're trying to move some people around to kind of
Try to help that out a little
give
bit.
that out a bit. But
Now, do y'all do like an offensive staff and defensive and
Yeah, so we
like, you know, you sort of keep everybody going at the same time and then flip it or something like that?
So I have 4 and 4.
Right.
Well, I have 5 and 4. So basically, we'll start out with tackling circuit, we'll go to specials, and then we'll go through defensive. So the varsity guys will be with the defensive coaches. The offensive coaches will be on the other side of the field with the JV, kind of walking them through just a lot of our elementary stuff, you know. And then after about 45 minutes, we flip it. So then the young guys go with the defensive coaches. The varsity stays with the offensive coaches. Then we go through there. So that's been helpful just to have that many bodies. But it does add a lot of, you know, challenges where, you know, like you said, there's a lot of kids that don't realize like oh, football is kind of a contact sport. And, you know, we try to be smart about it. You know, we're not running Oklahoma drills with, you know, a lineman running the ball, but at the same time, we do try to. A lot of kids realize pretty quickly in these first couple of weeks, like, man, I'm more of a soccer guy, you know, or I'm more of a tennis guy, and then, you know, we're getting transfers left and right. So it's just it's this week is so crazy because you're making sure everybody's eligible, you're making sure everybody's you know, safe. They got their physicals, they got their concussion forms, their cardiac arrest, and so it's just there's so many moving pieces where it's like.
And the good thing about if you could have went to camp.
Yeah.
That helps because, you know, the kids that wants to come in, some of that's eliminated because you got this group, that's the kids you're working with every day, and they can't go home and oversleep.
Yeah.
They can't say I got a little boo-boo and hang out. You know, they gotta come back every day because they're on campus and working. So
I think there's another underlying piece that you're talking about with those new kids coming in, man, because you, like you said, you already have certain language, certain ways you talk in your practice, but then you got to turn around and now you got to boil it down a little bit. You got to dumb it down. Like me, I'll say, hey, you're the force player, blah, blah, blah. You got to make sure of this. Now to that one kid, I'm like, hey, you got to make sure this door stays closed on this side. Don't let nobody outside this door because if you do, they're going to be running free around in the front yard. Make sure this door stays locked and closed on your side. Like, you got to break it down to that piece. And you got to find little ways like that to expand. That's a really good and interesting way because we as coaches think about that, but a lot of people don't take that into account.
Well, like yesterday, so we're in film, and you know, I have the whole team in there. So, you know, when we're making notes on the film, sometimes we abbreviate and things like that. And so I just asked some of the kids, like, raise your hand if you know what LOS means, right? Half the room. Well, it's all young guys. Sure. You know, but when we use language like that, that confuses them, and it just adds one more pillar of confusion to where it's like, now I don't even know what that is. Yeah. Like, I don't know what I'm watching. You know, and so it was like, all right, well, this is the line of scrimmage. Okay, you know, that's what it stands for. And so then we were like, okay, insert. You know, we have this play where we insert with the wing. And they're like, you know, who knows when we say insert, what do you think that means? Or, you know, half the room, no idea, right? And then at the end of it, you know, we kind of did that with some of those jargon words of, hey, what do you think this means? Okay, well, this is what it means. All right, young guy. We just talked about it. What does it mean? And so you kind of keep everybody on edge like that. We've actually been doing a lot of Kahoots. Y'all know what that is?
Yeah.
It's like a mobile game.
Kahoots? You don't do Kahoots?
You don't do.
Well,
so,
you're a gym teacher, but that's why.
Long story short, they get like
I don't
4.
even have a phone.
Yeah, they get 4 answer choices, and so basically we'll put
Back
like.
in 1921. Okay, go ahead.
You didn't have the.
Yeah, the crank, man.
What was that thing called?
We had tennis shoes, man. We had tennis shoes. We walked. We didn't have no phone.
Yeah.
If you want to see somebody, you walked. You know,
the
rode your bike,
just
hit a
goes here and
unicycle.
Got
one
that
wheel.
pigeon that just.
Crank it a little bit.
Yeah. So, you know, we do the Kahoots, and so then we would quiz them, and then, you know, the best thing about Huddle is it shows you how much film's being watched and what the installs have been watched. And, you know, so, you know,
more tools.
We're doing more teaching of like, this is what a football player looks like instead of like, this is how you run buck sweep, you know.
Well, I'm hoping the middle school program puts us a little further ahead with that. With when we get our kids, they won't know everything, but I know we're all trying to install things with our middle school guys. So hopefully that'll help just a little bit in transition and some plays. And, you know, because again, in the past, our kids wouldn't even be practicing. So basically the first day of school, they register within a week or two, they're playing games, which is crazy. But so hopefully that's going to help a little bit. But we got a coach said today is like, hey, you on Apex? I was like, Coach, tell him what Apex means.
Yeah.
just to make sure. He's a new kid, just to make sure, you know.
That's right.
And so I'm like, we was in a meeting, I'm like, how many people know what DC, what's DC stand for? Half of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's defensive coordinator. I mean, what's the OC? What's the OC? What's that stand for? Half of them.
Yeah.
Offense coordinator. So, you know,
Yeah.
I do that with them all the time. I'll do like scenarios like, hey, if the punter's got the ball and he goes to kick it and he kicks the ball and you cream him, is that a penalty or is that not a penalty? And then they'll start, I do that a lot. You just have fun with them and you'll see their eyes like, oh, is that a penalty?
And you know, I always start with that initial question. How many of y'all even watch football?
Yeah.
Like, who watches college?
I've got
Who
many,
watches
I
the
got many
NFL?
kids that don't watch.
I do too,
Yeah, they just
and
don't watch football.
it's alarming that we don't have more young people that's engaged. Like, I watch all the way down. I know probably top 15 in the nation high school. I'll watch college ball. I'll keep up with college ball every Saturday.
The ESPN series is probably my favorite one. The high school
Oh my
series.
goodness, it's
What about
fascinating.
the quarterbacks? They're
isn't
showing
it?
something on Netflix, the
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
Yep.
But
That's
that,
pretty
that,
popular.
that ESPN, like where they put like the top 25 schools against each other, it's like IMG versus whoever.
Yep.
Like that. I mean, that's honestly my
From
favorite time to watch
Thursday
football.
to Monday night football, I'm always on something's playing. And that Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm probably bringing up a YouTube to watch probably the top schools in the nation and see how they operate
Sure.
too, because you may even get something out of those guys.
You never know.
You know, that's
Well, you
all.
learn. I think you're talking about just watching football, and some of our kids don't, and many of them watch a lot of football. Some of them don't even watch our huddle because you'll click and they haven't watched any film this week or they haven't read the installs. But I think growing up for me and probably us, that football, we watched it so much that you sort of learn something. So I remember one time, I think it was Drew Pearson, the receiver for the Cowboys, caught a pass, made a move, and then went that way. So the next week I was playing receiver, so I caught the ball, made the move, went back. You know, so it's like anything. You know, when you're kids, you imitate your parents. If you're little girls, they're putting lipstick on. You're dressed and you're playing a role model. You do those type of things. So I think for us, just watching, I think for kids, you can watch and learn many things. But I think nowadays it's all quick, right? It's a quick play, a quick screen, go the next one, go the next one, go the next one. As opposed to us, you could watch a whole game. Like we would have to sit there because, you know, back in the day you had like a fuzzy channel and like black and white. And you had, you know, you had to, you know, it turn the antennas, you know. And nowadays they just have so much more access. We can see many, many things. And I think some kids take advantage of that in some ways sort of detrimental. That in the past few years we've even done situational stuff like, hey, here's Alabama. It's 3rd and 2. They're bringing in these 2 big boys. What do you think they're going to do? You know, and what's the defense? You know, so situational, what do you think they're going to do? So we've done many situational things like that. I've got coaches talking about dimensions of the field, how wide's the field, how long's the field, where's the hashes, where's the, you know, we've done so many things. And I think just trying to get the kids to understand the game. But I think by watching, I think, you know, it's like anything, right? You watch, you learn, you write, you draw. I think all those things are beneficial for you.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. The one question I wanted to ask y'all as far as going into this week, because I think you said you don't only do about 2 scrimmages. I know you have a game this week, correct?
Yeah, we have a scrimmage.
And I have one tomorrow as well. Is like, what's the going into these important weeks that you stated, like, what's the atmosphere that you expect from your guys? Like, I know we all expect excitement and all of that, but I'm talking in the details of like the mindset of your kids, the mindset of the guys, you know, your linemen, and how do these positional coaches in our staffs, how do they translate that? Because my guys, like, I try my best to surround myself with very, very smart coaches. We all do.
Well, all my coaches are smarter than me. That's easy.
Mine are too, man.
So that's easy for me.
Mine are too, and the best thing about it is you try to make sure that they adopt the attitude and the personality that you want on the field. How are you guys getting that across to not only your staff but your players as well? You know, especially from the old legacy ways. You know.
Yeah, well, me and Al Capone, we used to work back together back in the day in Chicago. But that's another story. That's going to be for another episode. We'll talk about Prohibition, how all that got started. Me and Al was tight. Another story. God rest his soul. Yeah. But yeah, I think, you know, when you're doing meetings and the coaches are meeting and how you conduct yourself and how you talk, and you know, a lot of times as we're coaches, we talk about teaching our coaches. So how we conduct ourselves and how the terminology we use and they use, and we all adapt to one another. And especially when you have new coaches, you're sort of learning, you know, drills, and then, you know, you're meshing things together. And I think that sort of works together. But now the scrimmages, as we go forward, now things get, right, the window gets tighter. Like, so realistically, our first scrimmage is here. Okay, what are you going to get accomplished? Okay, let's play hard, let's play physical. If you make a mistake, go full speed. We can watch film, we can correct it. And it's not life or death. We want to look great, obviously, but, you know, you're not really scouting people, you know, you're not really breaking down tendencies. You're sort of just having fun, really. So like a middle school game.
Yep.
And then as we go to the next one, now, you know, so we hone ourselves as coaches, we hone our players, we hone our headsets and how we communicate and what we're looking for. I want you to watch this. And I think as we get closer and closer to game one, when it really, really matters, we've got to have it perfected as much as we can. And, you know, usually they always say that your biggest improvements between game 1 and 2. So, but you want to play the very best that you can in your very first game, because obviously you want to win all of them, but the first one's the most important one. So that's the first one you play. So what about you guys?
And that's kind of the tough thing, is because, like, a lot of these kids, you don't even know what they can do because you haven't seen them in pads, you know? Yeah. And so, like, you can only get so much work, I think, against your own scout team, because your scout team is generally made up of younger players, more inexperienced players that may not be as strong. You know,
Have you ever had a scout team like a backpedals, like a D-line? Have you ever seen
yeah.
that? It's a crazy technique. So you run a play at them, and those kids on defense, man, they start backpedaling. It's a crazy. Hey, it screws your offense up, man. It's a good technique. Now, we're not going to use that. But I have seen some defensive lines that backpedal.
Yeah.
Hey,
I've seen that.
I have too. Like, I have some film about practice a few days ago. That linebacker was going, I guess he was trying to get in the hook curl area on a run play, because he turned hips and he went the other way.
He's gone, huh?
He went the other way.
Well, we're trying to tell our guys, like in my opinion, like, we do have some talented athletes. Sure. Like, if you can go against this guy, like, our running back runs very hard. Right. Like, he's a hard runner, right? And if you can make a tackle on that guy, then you could probably tackle a lot of the other backs in our region.
Exactly.
Like, and that's not a shot or anything. It's just, I think he's a good player. I think there's a lot of good players, but if you can, like, meet this head of steam in the gap, you can do it in the district. And, you know, so you try to preach that a little bit. And I think it's just tough because, I feel like the season kind of, like, comes so, like, lightning fast at you, because it's like, all right, so this is our first week full in pads, and then next week we go to Greenbrier comes to us, so we got 4 days. We're going to treat it just like a game week, so we're starting at 2:30, we're getting done at 5:30, you know, because we got all the stuff that we have to do as teachers, and then they come and they scrimmage, and then so we're going to treat it just like a game day. But like you're right, like, you don't really know who's who until you got another team out there, because, you know, our safety's brand new, he transferred in. Well, like I don't know if he can come down and take, he looks like it. He looks the part, but can he come down and, like, be our alley player, you know?
What happens when you got 8 plays in a row, and it's 95 degrees on Friday, and it's 6 o'clock, not 8 o'clock, not 9 o'clock. Yep. How are they going to respond to that? Then you check something, or you do this, or you change something, and they give you something you hadn't seen. Yeah. How do they respond to that? Those are things we really don't know, that you try to prepare for them and practice the best you can. And then, but that's what the scrimmage is about. You know, if you get caught in a bad position, or, you know, how do you respond to that? If you see something you haven't seen, what do you fall back on your fundamentals to try to play that the best that you can?
True.
So we've got Good Pasture coming this week. We're scrimmaging them, and you guys have got.
We're going on the road against Pope John Paul II.
JP2. You'll be playing on some turf. Great.
You guys home and away?
We are at Austin Peay.
Oh,
so
nice.
I tried to scrimmage Austin Peay, but they said they wouldn't because their jerseys are red, and I've only got red.
Yeah.
So I told them,
why.
they don't have white jerseys. So we said we called Good Pasture, and they're going to come up here, which is a very good football team, and that's going to give us a great scrimmage. So I'm really excited about that. And JP too. So, you know, the private schools, you know what you get. You get great coaches, you know, fundamentals. The kids, you know, and I've seen JP a couple years ago when my son was playing soccer. I watched him in spring. I swear to you, they had like 25 linemen. True story. They had like 5, 5, 5, and 5 groups of 5, and this is true. So the first group all look like men. They're all down there doing their steps, you know, all this fun stuff, you know all this stuff. Right, so they just did all that fun stuff. And then the second group looked pretty good. Yeah. Third group looked like JV players. And the back kids were the little kids, you know what I mean? You know that they're just beginners, you know, but it was like you could just see them. You know, you
Yeah.
can see the progression, the whole
Looked like
thing.
an AT&T
Which-
bar.
Yes, it looked nice.
This
You
is
know,
where you start.
Yeah.
This is where you finish.
Well,
you
that-
move up a line. You know,
So that was the
true
thing.
story. That was good.
We go to Beach this year. Same thing. Beach is walking out there. Their kids are like 6'2", 6'4", and
They're
you're like,
huge.
holy smokes.
Yeah.
And then their JV comes out, and you're like, how are y'all getting them? How are y'all getting
What
from
are
point
we
A to
missing?
point B on these kids? Like, this kid doesn't look like that kid, but I know that kid's gonna look like that kid. You know what I mean? And you know, of course, they're like, well, you know, we're in block schedule. We lift every day, and we got this going and this going, and you're just like, man, I mean, that's just insane.
Well, then I know they, you know, of course Beach was in our, so not use
me.
5A,
Not
but
me.
in our district last year, or region, and they were running up in the state, got beat by a team. It's not too bad. Oakland.
I think they won it a couple times. right?
Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's them.
Patriots
Yeah.
won it a couple
Yeah,
times,
they're not
right?
bad. They're not bad. So probably like 3-time champions or something.
them.
And Beach was we played them both, but they're a very good football team. And I think they have 2 schools they pull from, I think. I think they got 2 schools they pull from. So yeah, they do a great job over there for years. A lot of tradition. So, but I think that the 5A has been reclassified a little bit. So the 6A was like, you know, just long story short, sort of like Mount Juliet and Hendersonville, you know, people like that, Lebanon, Gallatin's and stuff. So now some of those guys have went down to 5A. So, you know, Henry County's been in the Clarksville district. I think Henry County against Montgomery County is like 135-3.
No.
Okay, I'm a realistic guy. That's what it is.
sure.
Google it. I'm probably pretty accurate. All right, so now you got Henry County. I think it's Beach. I think it's Springfield. Hendersonville.
Portland,
Portland. Boy, that's going to
and
be.
then Hunters Lane.
And then
Hunter's
Hunter's
Lane.
Lane.
So I mean, those top 4 right there, whoever that's going to be, that's going to be.
Those are gonna be some good high school games. I'll
tell you
that.
what,
Like
I-
I'd like to go see them.
I would too.
Glad I'm not with
yeah.
them, but
Yeah.
I'd like to go see them.
I tell you what.
What
there's-
a crazy district
And I know
that is.
y'all. I mean, y'all know because y'all been here. You know, y'all been in this area for a while. But I'll say it too. And you know, I've been in Louisiana, Georgia, and Texas, and I know those environments. But walking into Paris, Tennessee, with those guys that's always a fun
cool
time.
place, yeah.
Hostile, very hostile, and to see a Hendersonville in Henry County or Beach in Henry County.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
it's going to be some
interesting, isn't it?
great games right there.
I
Yes.
think I think Henry County has done traditionally always well. I think they've won it. The year that they won it was probably like, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I was at a game and I asked this kid at the UT game, University of Tennessee, the Vols were playing, happened to be sitting right beside me. And I was like, hey man, where you play ball at? And he was like, Henry County. And they won it that year. And I said, that was before they won the state championship. I said, well, how many seniors you have? He said, 42. True story. 42. I don't know what that 2012 or they won it 10 years ago or something. They had 42 seniors.
Wow.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yes.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're watching this video, you wasn't the starter on that team. I love you, and you're a nice kid, but you didn't look like you were starting on that team. Okay. Yeah, he was a little smaller kid. You know. He was a senior that enjoyed eating sandwiches on Friday, which is good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had 42 seniors a year. That's crazy, isn't it?
Insane.
So
Yeah, I mean, our senior class, I think this year is 22.
That's good.
Which is, I mean,
That's good.
We haven't had that in a while. Because, you know, we had like 8, 7, 6. So to get to 22, you know, like, and then the classes under them are starting to get bigger. And that's been our biggest problem right now is like we're in that kind of weird stage of like, we have 102 helmets. We're out of shoulder pads. We're out of helmets. And so you got like 5
and you
or 6
can't get them
kids.
probably. You probably can't get helmets.
Not until
You, well,
September. No, helmets, you ain't
we
gonna-
learned
you're
our
not
lesson
gonna see
last
that
year.
till
So
January.
last year there was a helmet shortage.
There was.
And you know we had probably 20 kids that didn't have helmets. So we were like, all right, well we're gonna buy 12 more. And Booster Club helped out. They're great about that. And then we got to this week, and then next week, and a lot of kids were like, oh yeah, I don't want to do this. Like
Right.
I don't want to play football. This is just different. You know, I came out, I tried it, not my thing. Well, then you get all these helmets back. And so now you've got, you know, the brand new 12 ones we bought, and you got about 10 of them. And so it's like we got into this weird like predicament where it's like you feel bad because you have kids sitting out, but then you have to explain to them like, hey, like helmets, equipment's going to come back to us. You know, you just have to kind of wait it out, you know, but it does get tough.
I did have to take that into account. Last season I had around 91. This year I'm about 60.
Yeah.
But last year I was about 91, and I was out of stuff as well. But last year was, I mean, I cut kids, man.
Yeah.
I cut kids due to safety reasons. I've never cut a kid just like, okay, this kid, he's trying, but he's just not good. That's not my nature. You develop kids there. But the last 3 seasons, I have tried to prepare myself to say, hey, some kids, even if you put them out on a JV night, are going to get hurt really bad. Like, they're not ready for this level. And I mean, I don't like it, but this is a safety deal. A lot of parents are concerned about safety, us as coaches. And if my guys are saying, hey man, that kid is going to get hurt really bad if we put him on the field, then maybe football is not the place for him. And you're right, that's where after that, I'll have a practice. I do it here. I'll have a practice, all the guys that go out, and I'll just go in and see what helmets are left, because I still have names on helmets. I won't after tomorrow, we'll take them off. But I'll see what names are on helmets, and pull helmets. And I had to order shoulder pads coming in too. They're gonna be late, but I had to order 20 new shoulder pads too because I'm short.
It's always a good problem. Well, we just got through, I've used them in the past, and I just haven't had the money to buy these, but we just got through paying like $4,800 for the Guardian caps. I don't know if you guys have those, but reduces in concussions. Yeah, reduces in concussions. I think it's like a 33% or something. It's been a while since I researched it, but I've used them before. So, you think about kids sometimes, they look funny, they don't, but really, they've really embraced them, and they really like them. So that's been good for us, and just another safety feature besides of, watching how you do things and how you have contact, you limit things, but also just trying to do things proactive to help kids. And you can scrimmage in them. I think you can do everything in, but you can't play a game in them. I think that's how that's the rules on that. So we'll probably scrimmage in them, maybe even play in the jamboree. I've done that before, and then we'll take them off, and on a Thursday and Friday we'll get ready to play. So who do you guys open up with this year?
Fort Campbell High School. We'll be at home.
Where you at? Home.
We'll be at home versus
They're
Fort
going to travel
Campbell.
8 miles to play.
They're going to travel a whole probably 9 to 12 minutes to come see us, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to start the season
so
off.
You got Coach Mitch is coming over. Coach Mitch and Fort Campbell.
Great guy,
Falcons
man.
are coming over.
Great guy, man.
Good buddy,
I like
man.
Coach Mitch, man. He's got those kids, and you see him on film from last season. They fly around really well. They have a good running game. They got big receivers.
What's
he's figuring out that quarterback situation
the
too.
Sankey kid. What's the NFL guy? What's his name?
Saquon.
Yeah,
Saquon's nephew.
I think they've got a couple of those in the family over there.
Yeah. There's a couple Saquon's nephews that are running. Yeah.
They got a little talent.
One was an 8th grader. That was a 9th grader last year, I believe. I might be wrong.
I think you're right.
But I think there's 2 of them that are Saquon Barkley's nephews that are running backs over there.
That's awesome.
And they get downhill. And they can run really well. And they got a center. Hey, look, I see this kid on film, man. He's a physical kid. He's all but 5'5", 5'6", but the kid's physical when he's snapping the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see how we start off the season, in our non-district, because right after that we're on the road to Wilson Central, so that's important.
So you're going to see us play Wilson Central.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, our kids will bring it together, and we'll do a good job coaching, and maybe we'll knock those cats off week 1 and give you some tips.
It'd be great.
But then we play you when we play you early, I think.
Week 4. I think
4.
It's week 4.
Well, we're like 3 or 4 early, aren't we?
Yeah, I actually think we're 4.
We're 4.
You're 5. We're 5.
Yeah, so we're like, sharing secrets when this is over.
5 and 6.
So you guys open up with?
Laverne.
Laverne.
So we'll go to Laverne. We're on the road.
Is that Coach Woodward?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's Mike. Mike's done a great job over there, and he's been in the metro atmosphere before.
Yeah.
And Laverne's I've played him before. Great athletes, great kids. I mean, that's a big good game.
Yeah, so we're really excited about them. I think it's always important to kind of like give kids a different look of like, hey, these are, try to match teams up with people that you may see in the district. So, Laverne gave us that opportunity. And then we go to Green Hill, who's a really good 5A team. They've grown so much in the 3 or 4 years that they've been open.
If I'm not mistaken, the first year they opened, which I think they drew from Mount Juliet.
Correct.
They beat Mount Juliet the very first year. So what a great win that was. Of course, they had a lot of things in place to do something like that. So you play them week 2.
Yep. And then we go Kenwood. So we're on the road the first 3 weeks. Wow. And then our first home game is against y'all, I believe.
Kenwood. So is there a hole in Kenwood? Somebody said there's the whole field. Like the whole field is like completely gone. That's what I heard, Coach. I heard that.
I don't
there's
know
no
about
field.
that. Yeah.
The whole school fell in. I heard the whole school fell in. Kenwood. There's not even school. Drive by, look over. There's no school. There's Is that not true?
Hey, this might turn into one of those WWE things where Snead comes out from the back curtain and you hear the glass break and it's,
Shout out to Coach Snead.
Yeah.
No, we're just having fun. But no, we did hear that they got a sinkhole.
Yeah.
I believe it's on the football field somewhere.
Yeah.
I
what I
wanna
heard.
say it's close to the track. I don't know exactly specifically where.
So,
but he's had some adversities all.
and
in
you
the
know,
offseason.
God bless him, man, because listen,
Yes.
that's a problem. And then you got your track and your
He has
field.
an excellent quarterback
Yeah.
over there.
But their quarterback is going to be a problem for everyone else.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
the
he'll fall in the hole.
Speed everywhere.
Yeah.
Hope not. We don't want the kid to fall
just
in the
before they play
hole.
us.
Yeah.
But he showed the Austin P out of camp. I think he was one of the quarterbacks that was out there just letting it loose. The kid could throw
Yeah, he's a
65, 70 in his sleep, man. He's got a great arm.
Yeah.
Which
big,
is,
big kid.
4 miles from you,
Yeah, right down the way.
5 miles from you.
That school down the street. Yeah.
Well, you three guys are like, you know, so back in the day, back when Al Capone was coaching together before he started making all that money, but it was Northwest, and then Kenwood opened up, which is right up the road. Then later on down the road, it was
West Creek.
and then Rossville opened up. So that's amazing because you guys are really within 5, 6, 7 miles.
Well, that's the
from-
thing. I mean, and that's what kind of
Really?
makes everything so tricky is like West Creek's almost dead center of like you go north of town, you're running northwest, you go, I guess, northeast of town, you're running to northeast,
Yeah.
and you got Kenwood. And I mean, you're a rock throw from all
It's
those
amazing.
schools.
For
And
those
so
4 schools, it's amazing.
the only thing that does suck like this year is like the lines have been redrawn. So you're trying to figure out like, where do you live again? Like, what line is that? Like, well, you live 5 seconds from the school, but now you're zoned for Kenwood.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So
Where
it's
do,
like,
where do they tell you
Yeah.
when you go down there and you register?
Like,
where do they tell you zone for?
we had a mom call and she's like, I'm not in the system anymore. Like, where are we supposed to go? And I'm like, I don't know. And then
Call the
so
Lord.
you know, we're trying to figure all that out, and it's a challenge. And so
It is.
This is a unique area with the amount of schools so close.
Mm-hmm.
Because where I'm from back home, like we don't have schools that close, man.
Yeah.
Our rival school is about 20 minutes away. Like we have a whole big zone. So to sit here and have 7, 8 schools, 3 or 4 in that kind of
That's
radius,
crazy.
I've never seen that except here, and it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah, it's
it really is.
But you were talking earlier. So who do y'all play? Wilson Central, and then who do you guys go to after that?
Logan County in Kentucky. So we used to scrimmage them quite a bit and coached, just so they've been down for years a while back. And boy, Coach Adler has done a fantastic job. I think they've won 10, 11, 12 games last year.
Awesome.
He has turned that program around. They are rocking and rolling. So we'll go up there and see how we can handle that. That'll be fun. And then week 3, I really don't know. We have week 3. Just
We have Kirkwood.
week 1 and 2 is all I know, man.
And
That's
Kirkwood's
enough.
kind of a random.
I think
you know.
week 1 is Fort Campbell. Week 2 is Wilson Central, and week 3 we go to Kirkwood.
Right.
And then I think 4
they're even gonna have a field,
is
like
you,
they're supposed to, I
and
guess.
5 is you.
Yeah.
Something like
I
that,
think,
4 and 5,
I think that,
something like
that'll
that.
be kind of a unique situation,
Yeah.
trying to figure out like what they run. We got to kind of see them a little bit at the Hopkinsville 7-on-7 that we went to. We saw you guys, and I think Northeast was there, and then maybe Kenwood was there. Kenwood was there.
Hey, did you guys play all in one day because of the heat or something?
Yeah,
they got
so we ended up
compiled
playing
one
all in one day.
Like 6 games in one day or something?
Yeah, and it's a lot. I mean,
Oh, yeah, it's a
they
lot.
do such a good job with that tournament, but it is a lot.
And what do you guys play? A Stadium of Champions?
We played the Stadium of Champions.
So is there any other fields being used?
Yeah, so-
Soccer, their brand new soccer field.
Which is
used.
near that? Or
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
yeah.
We had to pull out of the single elimination tournament. We had some medical emergencies, so we had to get out of that one. I didn't want to, but I'm about my kids and making sure the safety of the kids was important.
Sure.
So we had a kid go to the hospital. He's doing much better now, and that was enough for me to be like, hey man, we're just gonna take off and get prepared for our scrimmages and everything like that, because I'm already not a big fan of 7-on-7 anyway.
Right.
So
Well, I told you we weren't going to do anything.
Yeah.
Then I was taking a little vacation, coming back after that period, and guy texted me, and I'm thinking, I said, you know what? That'll be fun. So let's just change the pace up a little, work on our passing game a little bit. Because listen, we've been running the crap out of some quarterback sneaks. Dude, I'm telling you, man.
Is that it?
I'm telling you, don't prepare for that one, because you can't stop us, I'm telling you. So we went to Thursday to Hoptown and had some fun games up there and really enjoyed that. And then you guys had I think they wanted to practice before the tournament on Friday. And then so I hear, and I could be wrong, was it Pearl Cone and Paducah Tillman in the championship? Is that right? Does anybody know who won?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Said it was a good little game.
Yeah.
Two traditionally rich programs and getting
Yeah.
out a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
Tony
intense.
Bernetti.
Yeah, it was
it
intense.
Pearl
for
Cone?
It was
sure.
intense.
That's what I heard. Heard got a little crazy.
Yeah, a little chippy, a little intense.
But, you know, it was still a good day at work. You
Sure.
know?
Yes,
And
yes.
when you face teams like that, I mean, it's so fun because, like that's what I like about these tournaments is you have so many teams, so you don't know what they run.
Yeah, true.
You know, so the kids have to play within the rules because they don't know what they're going to get. Like we haven't schemed them up and said, hey, when they run trips, they're running flood.
Right.
You know, when they go 2x2, they're running smash. Like you don't know. Like you kind of figure it out. Like as coaches, you're like, oh, they're about to run smash back at us, or they're going to run some type of stick route or whatever. And so those games are fun because every game you're like, boys, that did not look good. You know what I mean? But then you got another chance, and
Sure.
it's so quick.
Yes.
It's boom. Hey, you better get over it because here we come.
Here we go.
Like you
That-
got to fix it. And then we
that-
beat up on a team like Paducah Tillman, like well-coached team, and they love to talk. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so when we play them, like it's kind of a chance for like our kids are getting talked to like that.
How you respond?
And then how y'all gonna respond? We can throw our helmet. You can shout, get kicked out of the game, whatever. Like, or we can lock it up and just go compete. You know, we end up beating them, and so that's always like we were there last year and they beat us, and so same thing.
Sure,
and
that's fun.
the kids are excited to get on. We beat them and then we beat their JV, or our JV beat their JV, and so you have those kind of fun, kind of matches, and then again you kind of put them in situations where it's like, hey, now you're facing Maplewood. What are they gonna throw at us? And you face like a Macon County. All right, no. Different look, different
Yeah,
kind of
different kids,
scheme,
yeah,
different.
yeah.
What are you gonna do? And so, the kids always get shot because like we play Christian County, right? They don't look like Paducah Tillman, but then Christian County is just like dicing us up, and you're like, come on, guys, like. And so there's so many lessons you can learn in those tournaments, and it's so fun because it's so quick.
Well, sometimes you can tell the guys that's really been working on the old passing game.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Like, hey, guys, today we're going to do 7-on-7. We're going to do a little individual, and we're going to do 7-on-7 for the next 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to do this.
We're going to run crossers
Yeah,
where
we're
the
gonna-
tackles are
yeah.
supposed to be at, and then we're going to run the running back straight
right down the
through-
middle
right,
of the field.
Yeah, right through
Yeah.
the
Linebackers
center.
That's my
don't do
famous
any
one right
run
there.
reads,
Yeah.
no step forward. You just get back in
Yeah,
coverage.
ain't no-
make those
no,
windows
just
tight.
Our
drop.
kids' hips already
Yeah.
flipped, yeah. So
Well, I always start off the first game. So if you're playing me, get ready. So the first 7-on-7 game, the first thing we do is we go back with that quarterback. We run that draw.
Yeah.
It's really successful.
Yeah, I'm
Then
sure.
your kids get going crazy. You can't do that. I'm like, what do you
Yeah.
mean we can't do that?
Yeah.
So just to stir it up a little bit. Okay, and then give a second down, whatever,
Yeah.
man. That's just to mess with people.
He like check it. So RJV, like I played one series with my guys and then I saw, oh, it's his JV. So I played RJV against, he loves just check that little running back
Go
down
do it.
real quick first.
Go make a play.
See what it
Just get
looks
out
like
there.
in
Just
space.
get out there. Just catch
See what
it.
it looks like in space. And I'm like,
know.
come on, man. That's
that's
his feeling.
part of the game,
And that's what I
right?
told my coach. They were like, he's throwing it to just
You gotta
that-
account for it.
It's like
Part
he's
of the
got to get
game.
a feel for the game,
Yeah.
man. He's trying to see where the vulnerabilities are. Like we got to coach too.
Yeah.
We definitely got to coach too because
Take away the
that
deep,
morning
break
he had
up
a
on the
rough
short.
morning.
Move
Our
the team.
JV had a rough. Well,
We
it
had
was
a
cool
rough
because like
morning.
our kids are like our JV kids. We took them, and so this year I was like, I'm taking the JV kids. Like I know because we're only going to play varsity teams,
Right.
at these tournaments. But I was like, I feel like you get the kids to buy in more of like, hey, look, we're gonna see what you can do. You're gonna face. Like this is not gonna go good. Like I'm letting y'all know now. Like
We'll
this
throw you
is
in there. Here we go.
This is what you're going against 18, 17-year-old kids who have been lifting and running. But there's not a whole lot of contact, so they're going to be safe.
We're in shorts.
They can understand.
Got a
they're in
helmet.
shorts. And so, sure enough, we take them up there, and they go like 1-4 on the day, and we're just like, hey, look, but this is like we're learning. Like you understand, like this
Sure.
is the kind of
That's right.
speed. Like if you don't get in the weight room,
Which is huge.
Nothing-
and
change.
you don't like
Speed
this
of the
is going to
game,
continue
learning
to
that is
happen
huge.
because this is what you're going to face. Like it'll get easier next year, and after that it'll get easier, and then eventually now you're with us, and now we went I think 4-2 on the day, so it was a good day,
Sure.
and and so that's where it's like it's a learning lesson of like, hey, like we'll get you there, you just got to make sure like you're doing our rules and you're doing, and I mean,
Don't cause me problems.
Yeah.
I don't need to be chasing you down,
Yeah,
throwing
yeah,
the ball
yeah.
on the sideline,
Yeah.
Our morning
talking to
was
somebody in the
rough.
stands. Where's he at? Yeah, I get all that.
Yeah, our morning was rough, man, and I was like looking, I was like, boy, we're gonna run the ball a lot this year.
Yeah.
But then I guess they just wanted some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and a little drink and a little some bananas.
Yeah.
And we get in the afternoon and we just start running them off, man. Our quarterback went, I think he went on a rampage about 12 or 15 in a row.
He's a good-looking kid.
12 for he's a twig, but
Yeah.
I love the kid to death. And it kind of came together in that afternoon that we can have to see that you can have that much balance in a season makes a lot. It means a lot too. And you know, you get to scout guys that you know that you're gonna play, and you know the speed lives up to the hype over there at West Creek. They have speed. You know, they got this one little tall DB. He's got some like colorful dreads. That guy, I don't know about him.
Yeah.
They got another little short DB, but he's got all this crazy speed.
I heard the head coach has got dreads.
You know,
It goes.
No, man,
he's got
yeah,
this one
baby.
guy.
Coach
Little
G, you
six
don't-
in
I'm
the
trying
back.
to. I'm trying to get more hair back up there. You know what I mean? I'm losing it. I'm finding it all over the practice field. I'm like,
It's,
man, I gotta get my situation.
It was definitely fun, man. It's
You
definitely
know, was talking about JV. So, I think it's 2007, my first year at Fort Campbell. We went to Kentucky. We play all day Thursday, all day Friday, watch film and all that stuff. And then tournament started on Saturday, big, huge tournament, 50 teams from everywhere, 5 states. So I said, hey, I'll take the JV and run JV, right? So the varsity got knocked out like 3rd or 4th round. They was pretty good, but they had some great competition, man. It was fun. So we won the JV championship, right? All right, so we feeling pretty good. So, you know, Coach, man, I'm the greatest coach in the world. Nobody's better than me, no way. So next year, right, we go back up there again. I take the JV again. You know, we're going to win it all. Of course, you know. So we go down. I don't think we won a game. I don't think we won one game. And we play this team, and we're waiting, like, what's going on? When are we starting? Well, we don't have enough players. So we had to wait for one of the varsity younger kids to come down and join them, right? So the quarterback was like 6 foot, 250. I think he played tight end, but they threw him in at the quarterback position for this little 7-on-7 game and beat us. So I went to tell coach, I said, Coach, you see that big old, I'm going to jump off the stadium up here, man. Like, we're not looking very well, you know, so it didn't go very, nothing like last year. So, but you know, you know, every year, you know, it's something different kids, different, you know, fitting things in. So that was really fun. Of course, I didn't think we was going to win the world, but I just tried to pump that story up. But it was so funny because we did not win a single game.
Yeah.
I mean, not one. And all those JV kids, most of them was playing with the varsity, you know. But those all new kids, it was so funny. We had to wait. And that kid would play quarterback. I'm thinking, hey, man, I think this is the team we're going to take, right?
Yeah.
This kid can't throw a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he threw enough to beat us. Pretty bad, but learning experience. But that was always a great experience for us to go up there. And, man, they had some teams from South Carolina and Kentucky. And, man, those guys would scheme you.
Oh, yeah.
When they play you during the during the day,
Mm-hmm.
their coaches would go home because some of them was locals, and they go home and scheme you up because we went back and played them in tournament, and they did some motion stuff to call our linebacker in place, and we're like, man, they schemed us for a 7-on-7 tournament, you know. So that's always a lot of fun. But when we talk about schemes like X's and O's, like offense, defense, and if they're in this formation, we want to do this. Hey, if you catch this guy here, hey, we want to do this. So, well, how would you classify scheming?
I'm gonna try to make
sort
this
of
as bland as possible without telling
without
little
drawing
secrets,
stuff up.
You know, but it's like the lifeblood of what you want to do to try to be successful. I'm a film junkie. I have to, like, if we're planning an actual in-game and we get film from a team, we'll get about two, 3 films you'll exchange. I usually only do 2. I'm looking at, I'll probably watch the whole game first. Then I'll probably focus on seeing what the tendencies are, what they like to do, what's their favorite run plays, what their favorite passing plays, who do they like to get the ball to the best, how are they running their defense, are they aggressive, are they playing back against certain teams, and is their offense matching up to what we want to accomplish on defense? Are we playing that type of team? And on the other side is that defense that we see and we're scheming against, does it coincide with how we're trying to be successful on offense?
So you may see a team on offense and you play this week, say, hey, this week, because of what they do, we're not going to play it this way.
Exactly.
I need you to. So we're going to work on something different.
You know,
just because of what they
you
do.
like that old school, you know, wishbone and single wing and things like that.
I've seen it.
And you know,
Coach did.
we're not that kind of guy. We're not that kind of team. You know, we spread out. We run a lot of motions and different formations.
Sure.
So sometimes it doesn't help. It doesn't help. So, but we still go out there and know that teams love cover 3, teams love cover 4. You know, the basic cover 2s. They're going to be in They're going to be in a certain front, probably an over front, or they're probably going to be in a 3-man, whatever. We know the things to expect against high school teams in this area, and we try our best to not only get down in detail to the point where we know hand movements, step in where you're supposed to be, what plays you'll be successful defending and things like that. But it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of you and your guys, your staff, to relay that down to your players so it can be effectively executed. Sometimes it don't work. Sometimes it don't work at all.
Yeah. So let me ask
you
you
out
this.
there and you throw it all in the dumpster, though. I'm not going to lie.
So let me ask you this, Coach G. So we're talking about scheming. So Coach says, I see this team. I don't like what we do against that, so we're going to adapt some things. So let's just say I see a defense in my office. Can you actually change too much? Is it fundamentals is important? How you do your stuff is important? Or sometimes can you change and maybe you sort of hurt yourself because maybe I put too many formations in or I put a couple motions in and I don't know if we have that down pat. We've only run it for 4 or 5 days. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can. What we try to do is we kind of do something similar. We'll ODK the film, and then we'll go through it and basically like separate the film out. All right, here's all the run plays that they'll have.
Right.
Here's all the run plays out of a 2x2 set. Here's all the run plays out of trips. And so now they like you said earlier, like kids just want to get through something so quick, and they just want to see the next clip. So we're like, all right, like, well, when you guys go out of trips, you're only running 4 plays,
You can't
and they look similar to each other, so they must be kind of in the same kind of family, like a buck family or whatever. And so, you know, we break it down into little chunks. It's like, hey, just watch a couple of these, like you'll be done with it in a couple of minutes. And so we break it down like that. But I do think when you're going against certain teams, you do try to, you know, make sure that your rules apply and how do they fit. Like, and our rules are pretty simple. You know, we want our kids to play fast, and so our rules generally fit every single offense. And then we just walk a player down and say, hey, it's the exact same thing. You're not doing anything different. You are still the box player. You're just up on the line, and here's why. Because we get the angle here, and, you know, we try to explain it like that. And so it's pretty simplistic, but kind of like going to what you said, like I'll never forget, we played station camp my first year as a DC at West Creek, and we all week we're practicing. They get in this like smokestack, so it's 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, all right, and so we practice all week. And I mean, I would say I had 5 films on them. So, I mean, I try to get as much film as I can. Not one time did they really show them spreading it out. And boy, we went there and we showed up and the kids were looking at me like, this is not what was on film. Like, you showed us clips, this was not there. And I was like, my bad. Like, I don't.
So that's called that coach may have been saving something, or he thought, this is the week I break this out. I've been using it. I've been saving it. This is the week we try to
broke it out.
Put the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a challenge because now you're coaching. You're almost like resetting your rules on a different offense. And you're like, hey, look, we can still operate here, but this is how we have to do it now. Like, you can't walk down on this guy. You have to back up at 5 yards, and so you have to change the rules on the fly. And that's kind of what makes coaching fun. Like, the game wasn't fun, but like in the moment,
when they first lined up. You looked at them, you're DC, get ready to call the signal, right?
Yeah.
All right, and they go baseballs, and then they go spread.
They broke out of what they
like,
lined up in,
gosh,
and then they broke out, and I was
you're
like,
screaming, hey, line up, you're going crazy. Hey, here, get up.
Well, and that's the thing. The kids are like looking at you, like, make the adjustment. It's like, they're about to snap the ball here in a second, boys.
Did you call a timeout?
Well, no, we wrote it out.
Okay.
So the first series, I mean, they scored pretty quick.
Okay.
So we brought them over. We have huddle on the sideline.
Sure.
So then I was trying to draw it up as fast as I can and like explain, like, hey, this looks just like this team that we just played. Like, it's okay. Like, everybody calm down. Like, we can play with these teams, you know. And we were trying things. I mean, because like as being a DC for the first time, I made a lot of mistakes. So I was like putting kids out of position where it's like, just blitz this gap, just blow this up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like try to get yourself here because they're trying to run, X, Y, Z, and that made it worse because now you've got people out of place, you got people playing positions that they shouldn't be playing, and it backfired on me. I mean,
but as a coach,
yeah.
And when you coach long enough, you see crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
And that was crazy.
Yeah.
And we went years ago, we went to Wilson Central. We played down, I think, just like every year. It's always been great games. So we go up there, and they're spread, motions, all this stuff, like a lot of people run. So we go up there, and the security guy says, hey, they're running wing T. Now, this is like total opposite of what they showed on film. And I went to DC and said, hey, man, that guy says they're running wing T. Now, either he's lying to us to mess us up just to have a little fun, or they're going wing T. They went wing T. And we beat them 17-14. And I give those coaches great kudos, kudos to that staff, because they just, their spread stuff, they just didn't quite have the people that they've had in the past. And I said, you know what? And I knew the coach. In the past, he's got that in his history. And so he said, you know what, guys? That's not who we are. Even though sometimes you don't figure it out early.
Yeah.
And he said this week, and kudos to them, because those kids did a great job at running the wing T in 1 week and almost beat us. We beat them on a field goal.
And people don't understand, like, this isn't like Madden where you can just, like, select a different playbook.
Can you reset it? Can you reset
like,
it?
the rules are so different. And
no resets?
No, and that's the thing is, like you just can't hop into, like zone principles and then like switch them to gap. You know what I mean? Like it's a totally different. Like in order to do that, I mean that's pretty impressive.
I told them
to swap like that mid-season.
I told them kudos to them. Y'all did a fabulous job, and that was great. So you're talking schemes, right? We're trying to scheme some people up. So the experience that you go through as coaches. So now we're working, like you're talking about schemes. So we work the summertime now, so you're putting in your base stuff.
Yeah.
You're putting in technical stuff, fundamentals. This is how we do things. And you rep it, and you rep it, and you rep it, and you rep it. And then something like this happens, and you're like, hey, man, that's out the window sometimes. Yeah. You got to change things, and you hope that you're good enough fundamentally to stay who you are and adapt without going crazy. And, sometimes you got coaches. If you coach long enough, you'll out-coach yourself. So you'll do something that you look back and say, I think years ago I ran a 2-point conversion play. I was like, why did I do that? Because I thought this, and this. And years ago I was like, that was dumb. So you learn as you go through. Nobody's perfect.
Well, I will say, I mean, and just from like watching like so many offenses and teams, like some of the better teams only run like 4 or 5 plays.
Yeah.
Like Hendersonville is going to come right at you. Like with the
what they're going to do.
Same thing, and they're just like.
But then you got teams that may run those 4 or 5 plays out of like 30 different formations. Mm-hmm. Same stuff, but it's all totally different, man. It's crazy like that.
So as a defense coordinator years ago, we was playing Wayne County, Ricky Rice, which is at McEwen. So congratulations to you, Ricky, for getting that job. And we played them in the second round. We was like 9-1. They was undefeated, and they went on to win the state. They beat us like 42-28 or something. But so he had 20. As a DC, they had 27 formations. 27 formations. So they'd have 18 plays, 5 plays, 3 plays, 1 play. So out of formations, they just have 5, 3, 2, 1, 7, 9, 10. Yeah. So then you start thinking, trying to scheme things, right? But then you got to, what can you do? Mm-hmm. You can't cover everything. So that's when fundamentals are very important, and you're really trying to back it down and play within yourself. If you're that good, then you got to play good enough. You got to physically beat some people from time to time. So
that's
blitz,
sort of, man. Just blitz every time.
That's sort of
just blitz. Just send them off.
Send them. So that's sort of how you guys. That's a little bit of history on how you scheme and draw and see somebody here, and I'm going to do this and move a guy, motion a guy, and get this guy to play. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of what we mean when we talk about scheming the offensive or even the defensive guys. So as we wind this coaches show up, so you guys are heading into, I guess it's basically our second week.
Yep. Second
week.
You
guys are going into next week is a scrimmage against Greenbrier.
Yep. Greenbrier's coming to us.
So we're going to lock and load, get a little contact going. You guys are heading
No, we'll be at home against Cheatham next week. Cheatham's
coming. The Cubs.
Yep.
The Cubs are coming to see you.
Gary Halstead, how you doing, big dog?
I heard that program's getting a little better right here.
Yeah, he's got a quarterback, man. That kid can sling it on that 7-on-7 when I saw y'all. Kid's got a little arm on him.
I think Gary's been around a couple of days.
Look, those kids will run through a wall for him too.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, he's been up for a long time.
Yes, he has.
Well-established coach, great dude. So we're traveling to Station Camp. I think they got a new coach up there. Alexander's moving with his wife, and the coach stepped over, and they feel really good about that team this year. So we'll have a heck of a challenge for that next week. So we all got some challenges.
All right.
Kids got challenges.
Yeah.
You've had a challenge this past week, you know. Coach is horse, I'm horse. We all got challenges. You guys have challenges, right? We all got problems, adversity, overcoming. It's all the same. So listen, guys, thanks for joining in. Look forward to the next one. It's Al Capone is coming up, going to join us. No, he's not. He's not. But join in for the next coaches show. Can't wait to see you.
For current and exclusive content, subscribe to CDE Lightband, connecting you at the speed of light.